What a treat it is to be joined by two-time Cy Young Award winner Bret Saberhagen, who joins us on the program on this day. Bret, good morning, man. Nice to see you. Thanks for the time today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Always good to talk baseball.
Yeah, your career was so spectacular. You were so good with so many different teams. I got to be right in guessing that the team you most identify with still to this day has to be the Royals.
It is, just because of the Cy Young's World Series championship there. I feel blessed. I thought I was going to play for the Royals my whole entire career, but feel really blessed to have played for multiple different teams and seeing the different fans around the country for a home team, not just a visiting team. So had made a lot of great friendships, players. I'm sure Billy knows that all as well. The camaraderie is one thing that I still to this day miss, but keep in contact with a lot of buddies that I played with that were close at the time.
You know, you talked about the camaraderie and the friendships, and when we went in to play the Kansas City Royals, and I remember you guys out there, and it was Danny Jackson and yourself and Gubaza and Bud Black and Charlie Leibrandt. We knew who we were facing, and you guys looked like you belonged together. Am I wrong from the other dugout? Because it just looked like this group was together for a reason.
Well, speaking of Blackie, he was my mentor, and I followed him around like a puppy dog when I came up at 19 years old. First week in the big leagues, I turned 20 April 11th in 1984. But Blackie was really my mentor, and I followed him around. Now he's with the Rockies, doing a great job managing there. Be great to see him get some players in there. Prior to that with San Diego, but we had a group of guys. We wanted to do well personally, but we always wanted to do better than the other guy that just pitched, and it was in a good way. It wasn't trying to show them up, and we were excited. So if Danny Jackson went out and threw a complete game, I'd want to go out there and do the same. And we always took pride in shutting down a losing streak, whether it be one game or 2-game losing streak of the team that's having. We all felt like we were the aces of the team. So we had an unbelievable camaraderie. We would take golf trips in the off season and play golf together. So we were a tight-knit bunch of guys.
Take me back into that World Series run in '85, and I believe you threw 18 innings and gave up 1 run. Is that good? Yeah, I would say so, but relive that a little bit and how you were feeling at the time, because I would say pretty good.
Well, yes, I was fortunate my first year in 1984 going to the postseason against the Tigers, and the Tigers winning it all in 1984. My second year, my feet were wet and came into that series. We just lost 3-1 to the. We were down 3-1 to the Blue Jays. Came back and won that series, and the same thing with the Cardinals. It was one of the things that really took pressure off of me was Drew, the oldest of our kids. At the time was born Game 6 of the World Series. So I was really focused on my wife at the time and the pregnancy and the first baby being born. And then when he was born before Game 6, when I got to the ballpark, I was the most nervous I've ever been for any game in my professional career. And what really took some of the pressure off was thinking about having a brand new baby and that. I remember George coming up to me before Game 7 and saying, "Why are you so nervous, man? It's just Game 7 of the World Series."
So your takeaway from Game 6 of the World Series that year was the birth of a child. It wasn't the Denkinger call. You got a completely
Did he make
different
a bad call or something? I keep hearing that.
You got a completely different takeaway from that night than everybody else who watched that day. We'll take you back to that moment, Bret, and I'm sure you've seen this a million gajillion times.
Safe.
Yeah. Okay. Pre-replay, things were a little bit different back then. Hey, I want to move forward in your career from Kansas City to Boston because you had 2 of the best years of your career in your middle 30s with the Red Sox. Was that the same Bret Saberhagen who won the Cy Young Awards, or did you go about it completely differently later in your career?
I really had to. That was after 2 surgeries on my right shoulder, and I came back and I had, 72 complete games before my first surgery. And after that, I think I had 1 complete game. So I wasn't able to finish off games like I had prior to that. And I had to become more of a smart pitcher. I always felt prior to my surgery that if I went out there and I had my curveball, it was going to be a fun afternoon. The curveball was always that touch pitch for me. So the changeup, I could throw it in any count. Fastball, I could throw it in any count. So I always could rely on those two pitches. But if I had my curveball, it was going to be a great game. And back then, the scouting reports was this guy's a first ball fastball hitter. It's like, well, who isn't a first ball fastball hitter? If somebody's looking for a curveball, the first pitch, they're probably not going to be in the big leagues. Anyways, the scouting reports weren't all that great. And I just felt like if I had my best stuff, I was going to go out there and win that particular game or keep us in the ball game. So the later on in my career, I was blessed to have Joe Kerrigan, who really taught me how to pitch and gave me more instructions. First pitch strikes were huge, working ahead in the count. Pitch into the big part of the ballpark if you're behind in the count, which is 3-1, 3-2, pitching away. You know, making them, if they're going to hit it, they've got to hit it to a bigger part of the ballpark if you make a mistake. But I didn't like to walk anybody, so that helped out as well, not putting extra guys on base. I think one of my coolest stats that I have, regardless in accomplishments, was in 1984, having more wins than walks at the end of the year. I ended up with 14 wins and 13 walks. So I took a lot of pride in not walking anybody.
That's ridiculous. My God.
Hey, so Kansas City made big news. Bobby Witt Jr. locked him up, and I'm sure you're very well aware of what this kid has done so far in his early career. But what does that mean to you? What does that say to you when you look at that? Because that's the biggest commitment on paper that Kansas City has made. And where do you see that going and how they're going to build around him?
Well, yeah, that's huge. And I was very surprised. I was very happily surprised. Good for the Royals. They're going to have to do more stuff like that to compete. My first thought when I heard that he signed for 11 years, 14 years overall, was I hope they put out a winning product, because I would love for him to have a chance at going to postseason and playing for a World Series and possibly winning a World Series. And with the small market teams now, I mean, you saw what the Dodgers did this offseason, and my goodness, it's going to be if everybody stays healthy, it's going to be tough to compete. So you really need to go into free agency, and you can't always rely on your young players. Yeah, it's great to have a great farm system and bring up within, and that's important. That's the only way you kind of keep moving in the game of baseball with the small franchises. You've seen the Oakland A's do it year after year. But it's something that I was very happily surprised to see him commit to them and show that maybe other players should come in and come to Kansas City and fight for a playoff spot and possibly a World Series.
Yeah,
so
it's a really great story.
I'm happy about that.
This is good for Kansas City for sure. I want to ask you about your cancer charity here in a moment, but first we have some images for you to react to. Just free word association for you, Bret. We'll show you a picture, and you tell us just.
I got to put on my glasses for this.
Okay, just put the specs on. Couple things that pop into your brain here. The now veteran left-hander back in his younger days, Buddy Black.
Mentor.
Love it. Let's roll the next one. How about your guy, Bye-Bye Balboni?
Bonesy, the gentle giant.
Next. How about the Hungarian sinker master here? Hail damage all over the legs of the American League West.
I don't think I have one or two words for Gooby. Gooby was he was actually the best thing that happened to me coming up. We both came up at very young ages and unexpected going to the big leagues. And Gooby and I roomed together. Who would have thought a guy from South Philly being able to talk as well as he does on the broadcast for the Angels every game?
That's a good point.
I love him. He does an unbelievable job, and he is the godfather of the second born, Brittany. So
that's excellent.
He's been a good buddy of mine.
Hey, Bret, no disrespect whatsoever, because you could carve anybody up. And I've said this before, you embarrass people in the confines of the strike zone. But I would much rather face you than Gubazah any day of the week, because the shin bone was not good after facing Gooby. And if your name was on the slate when we were coming to Kansas City, I said, yeah, I don't mind it. I might be 0 for 4 real quick with 3 punchies, but my shin's going to be good.
One more photo.
I appreciate that. That's actually a beautiful compliment, because that's who I was. I wasn't really feared by a lot of people. Everybody knew I was going to be around the strike zone. Yeah, you might get, thrown inside a little bit, because I love throwing inside to get the outside part of the plate. That's how you got it. But I don't think I was ever completely feared. It's almost like And again, Maddox was one of the best pitchers
Right.
who go down in all times. But you go through that rotation there, people would go in. Yeah, okay, got Mad Dog. Okay, I'll give him a shot today, and you walk away with an 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Hey, last photo for you, Bret. And this one, put on your way back hat here. Early '80s, late '70s.
Oh,
what do you got? What do you got? Universal
Kansas
Studios.
City. Oh, that's where I was a park attendant back in the day in high school. I used to be a park attendant there. That was one of my ideal jobs. I would go in late nights and clean up the park after everybody got done there. So back in the day, it filled my gas tank. I think it was like 56 cents a gallon back then.
So good. You just validated a story because I too worked at Universal Studios back in the day, and the guys that I worked with, Bret Saberhagen used to work here. I'm like, what? No. So I got that validated. Hey, real quick before we let you go, tell us about Sabes Wings, your cancer charity.
Well, appreciate you bringing that up. Yes, Candace, my wife, and I have started up. We're the co-founders of Sabes Wings. Go to sabeswings.org to find out more. But in a nutshell, she's gone through breast cancer 3 times diagnosed, 4 times treated. And the last time we were spending $22,000 a month on out-of-pocket expenses. And I had a nonprofit that was going on for a while that was helping youth. And she really wanted to do something and giving back to these families that are going through cancer. And it doesn't matter what type of cancer you're going through. If you're going through financial burden, we call it the MTF, medical financial toxicity. If you're struggling with paying your bills and you don't know which ones to pay, your household bills or your medical bills, that's where we come in. We come in and take care or alleviate as much of your debt as possible. It's all have to be validated. It's on our website. You can check it out. Donations are welcome. It's been about 3 years and we're growing leaps and bounds. The more we get recognized and the more we help, the more we have to raise money. So it's been a miracle of sorts. We've been put in contact with many cancer warriors that just don't know where to turn. And sometimes we don't have the solution for them, but we have resources that can direct them in the right direction as well. So it's something that I've cried more in the last 3 years than I cried my first 57 on this planet. So we continue to help one family at a time. And if you want to learn more, please go to sabeswings.org and learn about what we're doing.
Awesome. Good for you and your family, man. That's so wonderful to hear. And we really appreciate the time, Bret. Great to visit with you. Thanks for making some time with us. Enjoy the rest of the winter beard.